possible UFO causing USN while visible over the UK. March 28, 2015. Quote, UFO sighting in Cannock Chases. Hundreds report hearing loud noises from the sky. A strange aircraft, spotted moving slowly and loudly across the night sky in Cannock, has sparked UFO frenzy. Hundreds of householders took to social media after first hearing a loud drone, then spotting the massive object move slowly over their homes. Many believe that there is a very earthly explanation for a close encounter that has the community buzzing. Locals in the Staffordshire town believe they saw a secret military prototype, possibly from a U.S. aircraft carrier currently stationed off Portsmouth, and the British UFO Research Association has not discounted claims that a drone might be behind the rash of reports. The area has been a UFO hotbed since the early 1980s, but last week's incident is the biggest in terms of the sheer volume of sightings. Shortly after the X-Files incident, at around 9 p.m. on Tuesday, Facebook sites were awash with details of the UFO alert. One individual posted, "My house was rumbling, and I'm still shaking. It was slow and it was huge." Another wrote, "Way too slow for fighter jets. It flew directly over our house, made a sharp left turn and carried on. The craft, sporting 3 red lights, was so low that many feared it was a plane in trouble." Paranormal investigator Lee Brickley witnessed the same phenomenon, and began blogging as the drama unfolded. He described the thunderous rumbling as like a World War II bomber. "Before anything could be seen with the naked eye, there was a deep and very loud droning," he said. "After around 3 minutes, the craft came into sight. It seemed incredibly large and astonishingly low in the sky with 3 red lights that were easily noticeable. The UFO traveled very slowly and many people thought it was about to crash." Lee claims you could still hear the growl of the engines after the mystery machine disappeared. Cannock journalist Hannah Hiles, who has worked for the Sunday Mercury, was also alerted by the thunderous noise. "It was ever so loud and it went on for quite a while," she said. "It was much more prolonged than a military jet. It was very curious." Another resident described this sound of jets followed by a loud whir, akin to propellers. The reports, and Lee is still collating them, have spawned 3 theories. Asterisk members of the public did see something from another planet, or asterisk they witnessed a plane in distress, or asterisk they saw an experimental military craft, a so-called black project, being tested over Staffordshire. Lee added, "I've checked online with flight tracking services, and have concluded it would be impossible for this to have been a plane in trouble. There simply weren't any flights in the area at that specific time." I also contacted Birmingham Airport to make sure, and they confirmed none of the flights leaving or arriving at the airport experienced issues that would have led them to fly so low. A number of recent UFO alerts have turned out to be drones. UFORA, which takes a skeptical view of alien claims, revealed, and that could well be the explanation for Tuesday's mass sighting, a spokeswoman said. "I'm sure it is something that can be explained. Whether it will be explained is another matter. There are so many drones around." She stressed that tests of secret military machines are fact, not fiction. Development of new black projects, military hardware and vehicles, can take between 20 and 30 years. "We are not going to know about the development and tests that go on. There are so many reasons why people see things in the sky." End quote. Possible USN over southern Wisconsin. April 20, 2015. Quote, "Theories offered about Sunday night's strange roar over southern Wisconsin. What caused the window-rattling rumble that shook parts of southern Wisconsin on Sunday evening and lit up social media sites with speculation? Everyone wanted to know the source of the sound they heard at about 8:15 p.m. People reported hearing a roaring sound that lasted between 1 and 3 minutes. It was heard in Janesville, Beloit, Milton, Evansville, Albany, Monticello, Monroe, Elkhorn and Delavan, among other communities, according to Facebook comments. The sound seemed louder and longer than an aircraft or thunder, according to the comments. It was raining but not windy in Janesville at the time. The Rock County Sheriff's Office and Rock County 911 Center told the Gazette it had received no calls about the phenomenon or any damage. Here's a look at theories offered as explanations. Was it a low-flying plane? KC, who chose not to disclose his last name, said he was staffing the tower at the Southern Wisconsin Regional Airport on Sunday night. No planes were flying through his airspace during the time the noise was heard, he said. Also, it was heard in several counties simultaneously. I heard the sound, too. And there wasn't any jets flying through or anything like that, he said. If they would have came through our airspace, I would have seen it. Was it thunder? Officials at the National Weather Service and Sullivan had no radar contacts or weather events that might explain the noise. Was it a meteorite? Allard Butel, acting director for news and multimedia at NASA's Office of Communications, told the Gazette that he checked with NASA's Meteor Tracking Office and that there were no reports of a meteor Sunday night in southern Wisconsin. The short answer is the sound likely was not caused by a meteor or fireball, Butel said. Any noises produced by a meteor would sound like a sonic boom and last, at most, a few seconds. Mike Hankey, operations manager for the American Meteor Society, said that even a large meteor creates a sound that only lasts a few seconds. Was it a small earthquake? According to the U.S. Geological Survey, there were no reports of any ground movement in the area at the time the sound was heard. What else could it be then? One theory is a transformer explosion in Beloit, but that wouldn't explain the sound being heard in several counties. Milton resident Ryan Skinner, who has written multiple books on UFOs, said he isn't sure what the sound was, but he finds it interesting. I'm just curious of what it is, Skinner said. This is great. I love it. What is it? If it ends up being a conventional explanation, I'm all for it. Skinner, who has a private pilot license, said it could have been secret military exercises, or a spy plane flying under radar detection. Skinner admitted those theories could be wrong, but said he's sure it wasn't a conventional aircraft because the sound lasts longer than an aircraft quickly flying overhead. The 115th Fighter Wing returned to its home base in Madison on Sunday, but did so during the day. A ceremony was held for the airmen upon their return after spending the past 3 months at Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan. This was constant tone of over 2 minutes with nothing lit up in the skies, Skinner said. What I'm curious of is, if this was some sort of airplane flying low with its lights off, you'd think someone would be aware of it. The only thing known to be overhead at that time was 747, going to Orlando at 12,000 feet. It was way too high for that noise to be conspiratorial. This could have come from the upper atmosphere, he said, end quote. I think multiple orb UFOs caused this sound simultaneously in different concentrated locations while invisible. If it was a single UFO, it would have lasted longer, but the UFOs are intentionally trying to reach a certain level of attention, but not exceeding too much attention, but enough to get documented. They could be testing us psychologically and spiritually. I think we are going to see more cases of USNs. UFOs producing sound could be the next step of their disclosure process during the age of the Internet and our transitions into a Type 1 planetary civilization. They seem to be interacting more with industrial countries first. Keep in mind this phenomenon started appearing in 2011. After investigating UFOs and USNs for 4 years, I'm starting to think UFOs are something more supernatural than biological. Keep in mind there are 2 hypotheses, the ET and the ID or interdimensional beings. Visit my other USN videos to learn more. Let us know if you heard a USN.
Yeah, no shit.
That is a fireball.
That's a fucking fireball. Zoom in on that motherfucker.
No, that's a UFO, dog.
Is it? No, it's a fireball. I can see the tail of it. Holy shit, dude. No, that is a UFO. It's going back up.
Hold on. Damn, that shit turned around quick as fuck, dog.
It's definitely going off into the distance. Is that cutting back around?
Yes, it is, dog. That's crazy as fuck, man. What
And it was I was just about to get to my next thing on it was, you know, if we're supposedly the only life out there, when we find the other people that come to visit this planet some years in the future, does that disprove religion? Because of the fact that they were basing their religion off of a lie, that we were the only ones out there and God only made us. You know what I mean? Dude, what the fuck is that?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I've seen that one other time in my life. One other time.
That's crazy as fuck. Let me see.
Oh, please tell me you're going up now. It's going fucking up.
Hell nah. Hey, look. Hell nah.
You gotta be shitting me. Oh, I can't even get it on my camera now.
It ain't moving fast enough to be a fucking meteor or anything like that.
Well, if it was a meteor, it'd be
Shit,
going down to the ground.
I've seen the shape
But
of
it skipped back up. Oh, we could call the Air Force right now and ask them if there's anything in the area. At least then they would notice it, and we'd be able to see a firefight if it came down to it.
Man, that could be like a space station or something.